This portion of the Max Level podcast is brought to you by Technisport Gaming Chairs. Are you in need of a new chair for your office, studio, or gaming space? Technisport is one of the leading manufacturers for gaming-related chairs. In fact, scholars have long debated the origins of the Pro Gamer series. The most common theory is that a mad scientist created the first prototype by crossing a racing car with a lazy boy. However, gamers claim to have known these creatures for thousands of years, and some streamers insist that they have always existed right here in cyberspace. Go to technisportusa.com and use the offer code LDG to save 10% when making a purchase. Again, that's offer code LDG whenever you make a purchase at Technisport Gaming Chairs, and you'll instantly save 10%. And remember, if you want to hear the Max Level podcast in its uncut entirety at 5 a.m. every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe on either iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice. While you're at it, make sure to click that subscribe button here on YouTube and turn notifications on so you never miss one of our uploads. Let's talk about the worst games of 2018. Speaking of the worst co-host in the world, here's another transition. Let's talk about the worst games of 2018. Because this was a fun year for bad games. And we came up with a couple games each, and we're going to go back and forth and ping pong these off one another. I don't know what's on your list. You don't know what's on my list. I want to see if we can come up with, you said you had 4 games. I have more than that, so I'm going to let you go first.
I was going to let you start because you have more.
No, I'm going to let you start because you have less. I'm going to try to choose different things from you so that we can maybe rattle off 8 or so games that were truly the worst of 2018.
Okay.
I'm actually going to let you do all 4 of yours first, and I'm just going to interject and kind of say my opinions on each one as well.
Okay. I'm going to start off with the one that I was hyped for, and it really shit the bed.
Wait, is this the one that I told you to stop being hyped for and you were being stupid because of it?
No. I'm starting off with Dynasty Warriors 9.
Okay. I actually didn't put that on my list, but I've heard some pretty bad things about it.
It was not as fun as you would think. The whole open world thing didn't do anything, didn't add anything to it. If anything, it just made the game more bleh.
Do we know? Now, I did pull up Metacritic scores for everything I put on my list. Do we know what Metacritic's for? I'm actually going to look right now as you talk about it a little bit here.
I have no idea. I'm willing to say it's low. I can't see this game being more than 60.
Dynasty Warriors 9 is sitting at 65 on Metacritic, so that's average at best.
Generous.
Average at best, yeah, average at best. I never got around to playing Dynasty Warriors 9 though, so I really can't. I really can't add anything to this. But I know you did play it.
I played it. I just didn't like it. I've liked other games in the Dynasty Warriors series, particularly the older ones. But maybe it goes to show that I say it all the time. I'm not a big fan of these games in general, unless I'm actually playing Dynasty Warriors.
Maybe you're not even a fan of Dynasty Warriors anymore then.
It was I'm not a Dynasty Warriors fan anymore.
Maybe you're just not, this just isn't your cup of tea anymore, which is understandable. I mean, people grow out of certain franchises and entire genres, so to speak. So, yeah. But I do know this game was very poorly received critically. So
it did nothing new and nothing innovative, which sometimes you want in a game. You want just like a continuation, but the things that it did new just ended up making the game worse. So.
Okay. Fair enough.
The next game you're not going to like before, but whatever, Brian. I did not like the city of Final Fantasy NT.
That's fine. I didn't know if you would or not. I really wanted you to play that. Again, not a game I put on my list, so that's awesome. But I really wanted you to at least check it out because you are a fighting game guy. That's one of your top genres. So I at least wanted you to give the Final Fantasy fighting game a chance. And you did, and I know you did, and because I know you played the actual demo of it when it came out, and then you actually jumped into the actual game as well. Sitting at a 67 on Metacritic, so again, a game that was received average at best critically, and at least you played it, at least you tried. I still like these games for the story, but that's it. I will admit that their fighting mechanics aren't nearly as strong, but I like the story being told in them. That's all.
I also played a PSVR game that just really, 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 really sucked. I could throw an extra really in there. Really. I played Bravo Team.
Did that come out this year? Was that a release this year? Okay.
If it wasn't a release this year, then I played it this year.
Well, I wouldn't count. I'm actually looking it up. Yeah, no, it was this year. It was actually this year. Sitting at a 45 on Metacritic.
I mean, I remember reading the hype for this game, and it was supposed to be like the Halo of VR games. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, man, I want the Halo of VR games. And I got up there, and it's so clunky, and the movement's broken.
Did you buy this, or did you play it?
I played the demo.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but it was clunky and broken, and if the demo is broken, the game is broken.
I've heard, if you want a good one, I've heard something we actually nominated in the Lowdown Games Awards. And if you missed that, go back and check it out. It posted last Friday at 11 a.m. on our YouTube channel, and it's on the Max Level podcast feed as well if you actually skipped over that. We actually nominated Firewall Zero Hour for our, our top, best shooters, which was a PSVR game. I've heard really good things about that. So
I'll look into it because I do want a good fighter. I mean, a good shooter.
Right.
I talk too quickly. And for the Brian, I told you so moment of my worst games of 2018.
Oh, is this where I get to say I told you so? Is that what this
Brian.
is? Perfect.
Yes,
I have this
Brian.
on my list.
Not only did I buy this game, I pre-ordered this game. I was hyped for this game. I followed this game on Steam. I wanted this game like no other. I think I actually showed the trailer to Brian before he even knew about the game.
Didn't you choose this game over something else?
I guarantee I chose this game over something else. I should have chosen death over this game because this game was the worst. This game left me. The title of this game is fitting. It's Agony.
Yeah. 34 on Metacritic.
Yeah. They released a totally 100% broken game.
Yep.
Brian even told me, he goes, don't unwrap it, just return it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm going to play this game. I've been hyped for this game.
I literally told you that as the reviews hit because you were at work and you hadn't gotten home yet and opened the game. I tried telling you, just send this game back, man. You're not going to like it.
You don't understand. I pre-ordered this game. I was hyped for this game. In my head, I'm at work. I'm like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to play my new video game. And it's still a feeling I love to this day. I mean, I'm coming home. The game is ready. I would just work my butt off. And now it's time for me to relax and play a brand new, fresh video game, actually unwrapping it and the whole thing. It still takes me back to being a kid. I should have listened to Brian. Oh my God. And I went back to this game a couple times trying to say maybe the updates, maybe the patches fix it. No updates, no patches.
No, I think there has been one update now where they actually added in the uncensored version or something that they were touting for the longest time.
Oh, great. Yeah, on PC.
Yeah, I think it is on PC only. Actually, yeah, I think it was, yeah.
I got this on PS4, and they owe me my money back. Whoever developed this, and I didn't even look at it because I didn't pick that thing up. I'm never buying one of your games again.
You should, I don't know. It's probably not even worth anything you've traded anymore either. I can't imagine it because everyone probably sold it.
No, I'm going to hold on to it because it's probably going to become a rare game one of these days.
It might actually be worth something for being so bad.
That's usually how rarity works. Something's really, really horrible. People get rid of it, and you look down the line and, oh, I still have one. I still have my copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sits on my shelf next to other games that I'll never play again.
Maybe the worst game of 2018, but I think there's a game that rivals it.
You have something worse.
I think there's a game that rivals it.
I can only imagine.
I think there's a game that rivals it, which I'll get to here. I'm actually going to spout off everything I put on my list because I wrote down my personal choices and then went back and I also looked at Metacritic rankings to see what actually was kind of rated.
Those were all my personal choices. I didn't look anything up.
Yeah, no, I know. I wrote down four personal choices, and I went back and actually looked at Metacritic to get some other games on here that were bad. One game that I did not play this year, but I've heard some terrible things on, but I do still want to check this out, even if it is just because I want to see how bad it actually is. Remember The Quiet Man?
I have heard of The Quiet Man, absolutely.
Yeah, so this was the one that was announced at Square Enix's E3 conference, one of the two games we got. We got this announcement and we got Babylon's Fall, which was coming out in 2019. This is the one that was basically you're playing as that death character, and it is kind of live action, kind of not at the same time. Sitting at a 29 on Metacritic. This game is the lowest rated game of 2018 in terms of major releases. It's sitting lower than Agony, which was sitting at a 34. Yeah, this is actually really, really bad. Not the game I was talking about that I think is worse than Agony, because I haven't played this one yet, so I don't personally know. I think there's something I've personally played that's worse than Agony, which we'll get to here in a little bit.
You're going to say that's worse? I already feel what you're going to say then.
Yeah, so The Quiet Man at a 29. I would like to play that and actually see why it is rated so bad. Something I did start to check out, but then stop playing because it was absolutely terrible. And we knew it was going to be bad. Sitting at a 36 on Metacritic, Shaq
Metal
Fu.
Gear Solid?
No, Shaq Fu, A Legend
Fu.
Reborn. Shaq Fu,
Really?
A Legend Reborn. Yeah, terrible. Terrible game.
I thought it would have been awesome.
Nope, terrible game.
Said no one.
The first game was an abomination of a game. This one is also an abomination of a game. I played it for maybe an hour, sucked, requested a refund on Steam. I didn't even keep it. It was bad.
Give it back? Did
Yeah,
they give it to you?
absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you, hundreds of hundreds of people, if not thousands or tens of thousands of people requested a refund on this one. It's a shitty game. Bad game. Another game that I actually played on Twitch for about 2 hours when I was streaming regularly on Twitch and trying to really get into this and trying to, do Twitch on top of YouTube, on top of podcasting, on top of the website. And this was when I was spreading myself way too thin. Extinction. Extinction was awful. Extinction is something I actually personally wrote down. Shaq Fu and Extinction, 2 of the ones I actually wrote down myself.
How bad's Extinction looking?
47 on the Metacritic. So not as bad as like The Quiet Man or Agony or Shaq Fu. So we're now up into the higher 40s, but still, Extinction was god awful. Like, it was hard to control. It made no sense. It wasn't fun to play. It just sucked, man. It just absolutely sucked. I literally played this game for 2 hours on a weekday morning. It was like the game I had planned on jumping into this game. I got it before it came out. Unfortunately, the studio was nice enough to send it to us, and the game just absolutely shit the bed. But I really was excited to play it. It was the only thing I had planned to do that day. I was going to spend the entire day streaming Extinction, getting far into it, and it just sucked so bad that I stopped playing it after 2 hours and switched over to World of Warcraft, which wasn't even in the agenda for the day. I was like, I need to play something else. I need to clear my mind of this bad game, and started playing World of Warcraft. Another game that I did not have a chance to play it this year, but is rated poorly on Metacritic, so I do want to give it a special shout out here. The console version is coming out in 2019, but it's something that we've been speculating time and time again, that this game was nothing but trailers. Overkill's The Walking Dead, sitting at a 51 on Metacritic, because the PC version's already out. PC version released in November. The PS4, Xbox One version comes out in February. I think February 15th, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Overkill's The Walking Dead was terrible from everything I've heard about it and all the critic reviews. And we kind of knew it was going to be. So, which brings me to another game that I wrote down myself, Metal Gear Survive. Sitting at a 54 on Metacritic. Sitting at a 54 on Metacritic is Metal Gear Survive. Again, our friends over at Konami did send us a copy of the game to play and review. I did not like this game, and not many people did either. It was a decent attempt to try to continue the Metal Gear franchise after losing Hideo Kojima, but it wasn't a good enough attempt, and it was a poor choice of gameplay mechanics for Metal Gear Survive. Good ideas found in this game. Good ideas found there. Yes, 1000%. The game had good intentions and the game had good ideas. Poorly executed, though, with a terrible design flaw. So Metal Gear Survive it was not my cup of tea. And according to Metacritic, it really wasn't anyone's cup of tea. Another game that I personally wrote down is sitting at a 62 on Metacritic, a game that I did not put too much time into because of how bad I thought it was. We Happy Few. Or as Jim Sterling calls it, We Happy Poo, because the game is pretty bad. The game, it had issues when it was in beta, when people got the free demo of it and the free copy of it because of everything that came out, and the people that pledged whatever happened, they gave the certain portions at early access is what I meant to say. When the game was in early access and you were able to play this, and then they took it back and took it down off early access to fix all the shit that was wrong with the game. They didn't end up fixing a lot of stuff that was wrong with it. It's still pretty broken and still bad. So We Happy Few sitting at a 62 on Metacritic, and I keep hoping, because I have the game still. I keep hoping that they're going to do something to fix it so I can go back and actually get some enjoyment out of this. Hasn't happened yet. Don't know if it will. Another game that I haven't played, but I wrote down because I knew it was going to be bad. Now, I played the first game in this series, and it was terrible. One of the worst games of 2017. I knew the sequel was going to be one of the worst games of 2018, but it has confirmed a 62 on Metacritic, so not terrible, average, but still a bad game. NBA 2K Playgrounds 2. One of the worst games of 2018 by far. The first one scored way less than that on Metacritic. The first game last year sucked so bad. But I knew when 2K got involved with this, it would at least be a little bit better, but I knew it wasn't going to be good enough. So it was interesting to see that, that this actually still is one of the worst games of 2018. Which brings me to my overall worst game of 2018, which is a game that I think is worse than Agony. Sitting at a 49 on Metacritic, it's Fallout 76.
It's really that low?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Fallout 76 is bad, dude. Fallout 76 is terrible. And that's just critic reviews. Like, if you actually look at, if we go to Metacritic here, and we look at user reviews for Fallout 76, it's even worse than that. So we go to 49 here for Fallout 76. User reviews, it's taking forever to load. 2.4 out of 10.
I was gonna say I have Fallout 76 showing at 53.
It depends on which platform you look at.
Okay, but 2.7 for fans. So okay.
It depends on which platform you look at. PS4 is 52, Fallout 76 is 53, and Xbox One is 49.
But a 2.7 is about a 48. So okay.
Out of 10?
Out of 10. So
incorrect. 2.7 is 27.
No.
27%.
Because out of 5. These are out of 10.
User ratings are out of 10.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I was calculating high math there. Okay.
No, user ratings are out of 10. Now, the reason I chose the Xbox One version to get the ultimate score is because there's more critic reviews and user reviews for the Xbox One version than there are for PC and PS4 on Metacritic. So you're getting a better idea of what the game actually is based off of that, because they had that partnership with Microsoft and more people are playing it on Xbox platforms. So, but yeah. So Fallout 76, 49 on Metacritic, and user ratings 2.4 out of 10.
This kind of gave me a quick idea we can just kind of piggyback onto.
What's that?
Do you have any near misses this year? Any games that like you were going to buy and it's just like didn't and ended up being crap? Or
probably. Let me think about it for a minute. Do you have one off the top of your head?
Deracine for the PSVR. Now it's actually not ranked that low. It's actually at a 68.
Okay.
But when you look at actual like ratings for like actual VR games, it's like a 1 or a 2.
Wow.
Because they're saying that it's very boring and it's not like it's like a slow build kind of game.
I haven't heard terrible things about that, so that'd be.
I mean, it's 68, 7.7 out of user, so it's not the worst.
Yeah.
I really wish Agony was a near miss.
Looking at the rankings for 2018 on Metacritic, a game that I actually was kind of interested in that I was potentially planning on picking up to review and cover for Low Down Games, but I see it sitting at a 34 on Metacritic, was Past Cure.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because I remember talking about that earlier in the year when we were talking about the new releases and reading the description. I was like, wow, this actually sounds really cool. I might pick that up. I never ended up picking it up, but I'm glad I didn't after looking at that. Let me see what else. I'm kind of just scanning through here, trying to stick under the 60s to see if there's anything else that I was potentially going to get. I did end up getting The Witch and the Hundred Knight 2, which is at a 61, so that's not terrible. Dakar 18. There you go. I never bought that, but that's sitting at a 60 on Metacritic. So another game that potentially is a bad one. So we'll have to. I probably won't ever. I was still considering picking that up, but after seeing that, I probably won't ever go back and actually get that one either. Interesting to note the Inpatient, which we gave our survival horror game of the year, 59 on Metacritic. So scores not necessarily mean everything.
Exactly. There's games out there that are critically panned that we like.
Yeah. Scores don't mean anything, and obviously anything we say take with a grain of salt because personal opinions. But I really do feel like Fallout 76 is the worst game of 2018, worse than anything else we've played. It's more broken than Agony, and that's a fact.
I'm actually shocked to hear that. I'm actually now kind of glad. There's my near miss because I was going to buy it.
Yeah, I know you were going to buy it, and I told you not to buy it. After I played it for...
I trusted you, and I'm glad I trusted you. Once in a while, you come through.
Yeah, I actually played it for the first several days and then realized what a mistake it was to pick it up, and I told you, just don't buy this game right now, dude. It might be worth it in like a year. It's time. Like when they fix everything and they add more content to it and actually add more stuff, then it might be a fun game to play, but by then you could probably get it super cheap or even free. Maybe it might even be free to play in a year. Who knows? It's that bad. The game literally came out $60 on day one, November 14th. November 21st, the week of Black Friday, $29.99. It was discounted that fast. Like, literally, I was so fucking mad at myself that I paid full price for this game the week before when I could have got it the very next week. 7 days later, when I only played it 2 of those 7 days, I could have got it for $30 less and saved myself some money. Which really burned me a lot on Bethesda as well, because the fact that they discounted it so low because the game wasn't selling. 85% less sales to date for Fallout 76 so far than what Fallout 4 sold. This game is an abomination. It's not selling. It's a piece of shit. The game is terrible. Like I said, it has more glitches and more technically things wrong with it than Agony did, which is saying a lot because Agony was critically broken as well.
Do you think they'll fix it though?
they're trying, but every time they fix something, they end up breaking things even more. So they increased the stash, like the cache that you can actually keep more things in your personal storage. They increased it from 400 to 600. It slowed the servers down, it broke the servers, and then people found out that you could unequip a piece of your leg armor and put it back on real quick, and it'll send your weight into the negatives, so you can constantly keep picking things up. And the servers aren't meant for that. So the more shit people pick up, you can now break the servers and take them down by unequipping something from your character, putting it back on super fast, which will then put your weight into the negatives and shut the servers down that way. If you don't want to set off 3 nukes at once, you can just do that now. So very, very easy to break this game and take servers offline where multiple people, anywhere from 20 to 100 people at a time, are playing on these servers. So you're literally breaking the game for everyone on that server just by doing this. The game is a mess. Bethesda had no clue what they were doing when they put this out. The game should have never came out when it did. It should have never came out. And dare I say, the game should have never been even made at all at this point. I was actually excited for it, for an online Fallout game. It's so bad that...
So, Brian, just to be fair, is that an I told you so?
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. Because you weren't excited. Well, you were not excited for this game for different reasons. You didn't think it was going to be bad. You just didn't want an online Fallout game. You wanted a single player Fallout game.
I said an online Fallout game would be absolute garbage.
Yeah, and it is for different reasons than what you originally thought, though. But I'll give it to you.
I'll take a half a point.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I'll give you the full point. I'll just give it to you. I've been listening to a lot of discussions on Fallout 76 on YouTube. A lot of podcasts that I listen to, like Easy Allies and Kind of Funny, and the Podquisition with Jim Sterling, the PlayStation podcast that Colin Marta does, Sacred Symbols, and even Kotaku Split Screen with Jason Schreier. I've been listening to all these different podcasts, and a lot of people have been talking about Fallout 76 lately. Everyone is saying that they are now concerned for Bethesda going forward, because a lot of people now...
Still hopeful.
Yeah, no, and being hopeful, there's nothing wrong with being hopeful, but a lot of fans and critics now are no longer giving Bethesda the pass that they used to get for all the issues that were in Skyrim or the issues that were in Fallout 4. We used to give them a pass.
Yeah, we did. We let them away with a lot of errors for Fallout, everything.
Yeah, there were always bugs in Bethesda games. It was a joke. We always knew oh man, the games, they're buggy as hell. But my God,
someone's head is twisted around and then jumping to you.
Yeah, but my God, are the stories good and the games are fun to play. That's why we always gave them a pass. Now, these people aren't getting passes anymore. The fans and the critics, they're not necessarily going to give Bethesda a pass. So people are now concerned for Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6, because if Bethesda doesn't learn their lesson here, and I think they are learning their lesson, because they're just bleeding money left and right on Fallout 76 right now. I don't think we're going to see Starfield as early as they initially thought we were going to now. I think it's going to actually be delayed by a year, if not 2 years. I thought we would see Starfield in 2020, 2021. I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see Starfield till 2022 now, just because I think they're going to have to make sure that this game really does well, which is just another blunder on their part for releasing it or announcing it so early, on top of the Elder Scrolls 6, which isn't even going to start development until after Starfield is done. This is Bethesda Game Studios. They only work on one game. They're like Rockstar. They work on one game at a time. They will not even start on the Elder Scrolls 6 until Starfield is done, which means if Starfield doesn't come out till what I think was 2022, that's when the Elder Scrolls 6 enters production, 2022.
Oh, jeez.
Which means we don't see that until 2027 at the earliest. So if they really did fuck up that bad, and they've already announced the next 2 games coming from Bethesda Game Studios, we won't see an official new game announcement from BGS until the Elder Scrolls 6 is ready to release and they announce Fallout 5 or something. So I don't know what they're going to do here. Either that or they're going to have to really just admit that they need help with technology and making a game engine that runs smoothly with minimal bugs, and just hire some more people or something. They're going to have to do something. This is a critical moment for Bethesda as a studio right now. We're going to see how they react to this with Fallout 76, and that'll kind of give us a clearer picture of what's going to happen with Starfield and the Elder Scrolls and Fallout going forward. Because Fallout 76, I think, started a chain reaction that's, if not fixed, is going to be a disaster for Bethesda in the future. But yeah, because of all that shit, I do think Fallout 76 is the ultimate worst game of 2018. I think we'll give it a tie because I know Agony is your worst game. So we'll say the 2 worst games of 2018 are definitely Fallout 76 and Agony. Definitely the 2 worst games. Thanks for checking out a portion of the Max Level Podcast. If you enjoyed what you just watched, be sure to click that subscribe button and turn notifications on, leave a like, and drop a comment down below. If you're interested in checking out the Max Level Podcast in its uncut entirety at 5 a.m. every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe on either iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice. We'll see you next time.